One of those sessions which I think... Achha, I was thinking we are a little late. Okay, okay. Sure, okay.
Good morning, everyone. So we are into the second day of our celebrations of the World Youth Skills Day, and I welcome you all in this house. We're just waiting for Honorable VC sir to enter, and then we will just start. So today is a good day. Right. Sir is here, so I would request our honorable dignitaries, Honorable VC sir, Honorable Registrar sir, and Abhishek Gupta sir, to occupy their seats on the dais. And of course, we have Shabbir sir here. So without further ado, let's move into welcoming our guest first. So for that, I'd request Dr. Sitesh Sinha, our Honorable Registrar sir, to welcome our guest Shabbir Haider sir with, as our customs say, a plant.
Oh.
Yeah. Plant and a memento and a kit from our side. So please give it up for Shabbir Haider sir. And also,
Thank you.
the plant,
Thank you. This is beautiful.
we have a memento for sir as well, so that it remembers this day.
Yeah.
And there's a kit as well. A beautiful gift from our side, along with some brochures. So I would request again, Dr. Sitesh Sinha sir, to welcome our Honorable VC sir with a plant. And Mr. Abhishek Gupta sir, Abhishek Gupta sir, whose brainchild to his programmers. And of course, I would request again Abhishek Gupta sir to welcome Dr. Sitesh sir. That's called resource management. Thank you so much, sir. So I won't take much time. I'll just call upon Ms. Archana, madam, to take this event forward. Let's know some more about our chief guest, and then we'll start with the session. Good day.
Thank you, Sandeep. Respectable members on the dais and all my dear colleagues and friends, good morning and welcome you all to this session. Today we are conducting this session on AI Essential for Educators under the initiative of Learning and Development with our national project team. The inception of the new segment Learning and Development, I'll just brief about something about the Learning and Development cell. The inception of the new segment of Learning and Development under corporate HR started in AISECT Bhopal with effect from February 2022. The objective of this segment is upskilling, reskilling, and development of all the individual staff members of AISECT and its universities AGU, and its vivid entities like Edu Advantage, Rojgar Mantra, PMKK, projects, financial inclusion, team of staff from zonal and state offices across Pan-India, thereby enhancing their skills and knowledge. Here we are providing trainings in the field of technology and management, domain upskilling, and other identified areas based on the training needs of the staff. So the modus operandi of our training sessions is we are conducting sessions online and offline mode, coaching and mentoring, books, library consultation, and self-study. And one important factor in this modus operandi is on-the-job training and self-paced training through their own digital portal like AISECT Learn, Swayam, Neptal, Coursera, Udacity, LinkedIn Learn, Udemy, Simply Learn, and Upgrade, and many more. Now, here I would like to mention that only one person has taken the advantage of this reimbursement scheme. We are doing reimbursement also for the trainings. You have to take the approvals from your authorities first, and then you can get the fees reimbursed. So this has been taken advantage only by Dr. Nais Zamir from RNTU University. I think it's a big round of applause for her. Before we start this session, I would make a brief about the World's Youth Skills Day, as we are celebrating it in our SGSU University from 15th to 19th of July 2024. Now we are celebrating it daily, so World Skills Day ke baare mein is observed annually on 15 July, which highlights the significance of equipping young people with skill for employment, decent work, and entrepreneurship. It was established by the United Nations General Assembly in 2014 to raise awareness about the high employment rate among youth and the need of vocational and technical training to address the skill gap. This day emphasizes the critical role of skill development in achieving sustainable development goals and fostering economic growth. Youth Skills Day is closely linked with initiatives such as NEP and TVET. As you all know, because all here are the faculties and the teaching staff. Basically, we are looking forward to bridge the skill gap between the industry requirement and academia. And for the students to have a strong skill set, the teachers need to be educated first in the skilling area, where we talk about upskilling and reskilling in today's era. This was also discussed in yesterday's roundtable conference, which was held in SGSU campus. And many participants, renowned industrialists, personalities like Rajiv Agrawalji, President All India Industries, Mihir Merchant from Parmali Wallace, PC Basu, Volvo Aisha, Subodh Sahu from Parle Agro, and many more, where it was highlighted the need of internship for teachers for their learning and knowledge gaining. In the sense that today's session is also for teachers because they also need some upgradation. So in brief, AI is essential for educators because it enhances personalized learning, streamlining administrative tasks, engaging students more effectively, provide value data-driven insights, support diverse learning, need aids in professional development, fostering innovative teaching methods, and optimizing educational resources. And for this, we have Mr. Shabbir Haider from Gurgaon. He is a management professional with more than 12 years of experience working with some of the India's most trusted brands like Amul, Wipro, Quantum, PepsiCo, and Mondelez. His work span across the domain of sales, design strategy, management consulting, and technology transformation. His passion for leveraging emerging technologies and education as a tool for organizational and social transformation inspired him to build his own FutureLab studio. Clap for him. Applause. He is an alumni of Jadavpur University, Kolkata, and an institute of IRMA from Anand. We welcome Sir for his insightful session. And with this, I hand over the platform to you and would request our guests to take the seats on the front line.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. No, I'll need this. Okay. Thank you so much, Archana ji, and all the kind colleagues at AISECT, SGSU for such a very warm welcome to me. As you have seen, I am occupying this side of the hall and this side of the table, not that, because I'm not much of a speaker per se. Essentially, there are two kinds of teachers. One who are great orators. They can really influence you by, through your words. I happen to be one of those teachers, and I've been a teacher for a very long time, but I have always enjoyed building things and showing what I have built. So, more of a engineering kind of a mindset. So I'll be showing you a lot of stuff. I'll be doing a lot of live demos, and the reason why I'll be sitting here and giving a lot of demos to you. But still, we are in this very special time and age today where, even a builder like me has to speak some things, because there is some bit of
Recording
a
in
context which
progress.
is needed when it comes to AI. So I'll do a little bit of talking, but then I'll quickly get to some real building. So we'll move very quickly to that. So this is how the session will flow for us today. I will talk a little bit about this topic, which I find very fascinating, called big history. All of you who are fans of big history, cheers to you. This is one of those topics which is, very expansive, and it has really helped me put AI in a place. How do I really make sense of AI and what it is doing? Especially for those of you who are educators, those of you online, who are either students or educators, AI is something almost, you can say it has a transformational effect on the entire society. That is what we're going to see in the next 5 years. So we'll talk a little bit about the context of where AI has come from, where it is heading, and where it is now. Then we'll do a lot of demos. So I'll be showing you how to use AI from a scientific mindset. How do you work with documents? How do you create stuff which is very useful? We'll also make a lot of fun demos. We'll make songs, videos, images, all of that. So that'll be fun. The fourth part is something which is very critical for all of you who are in the management
Recording in
profession,
progress.
all of you who are in the arena of science. How do you really improve your critical thinking and reasoning skills with AI? So we'll also do a very demo-based approach to that. I'll show you things which you can use to do that. And we'll close with the near and far future of AI. That's the flow for us today. One necessary disclaimer, especially because AI comes with so many gifts, but it also comes with a lot of things we should be very careful about as a society. So the disclaimer being that this workshop will not constitute any legal advice, and participants are solely responsible for the use of AI tools and technologies. Essentially, also pointing towards the fact that there is very high
Recording
threat
in
of AI
progress.
being misused in ways which will not be very beneficial to the society as well. So again, it's something which all of us have to keep in mind, that while AI is a great technology and it's emerging right now, but the fair and ethical use of AI again remains a very important and critical part of AI utilization. Let's start with this when it comes to the discussion part of our session today. Any of you can recognize this gentleman standing here in the picture? Any of you, any guesses who this person is? So he's typically credited to be one of those teachers who have been loved by students the most. He's Professor Richard Feynman. For all of us who have studied science, he has remained a very pivotal figure when it comes to teaching. There was this very beautiful philosophy of teaching which he talked about how if you really can teach something to a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old, that means you truly understand it. Apart from that, one more thing which I think which he signified in his life as a professor was that the best teachers are those who tell where to look but don't tell you what to see. This is a very powerful mental model, especially for those of you who are educators. While we may not be great teachers, but all of us want to be good teachers, right? So in the session, I'll also follow this dictate here of telling you what all to look, because AI is a very large landscape right now. The sharpest brains in the world today are working on AI. So what I'll try to do is, I'll try to give you a larger landscape of what all to look. So you can see this session today as a beginning. For those of you who are unfamiliar with AI, it could be a beginning for you to understand the world of AI. And trust me, it's a very deep rabbit hole, and one of the most exciting rabbit holes that you can get into. I think if I was successful in the session today, it will mean for the next 2 weeks, you'll be very busy just studying about AI. It is so exciting. So that's the premise. I'll give you the larger landscape with the hope that you will go deeper into it. A bit about myself. So, this is who I was before I truly stumbled upon AI some 6-7 years back. I've always, been very passionate about technology, about how technology is shaping
Recording
life.
in progress.
AISECT as an organization stands for that, isn't it? How technology can really help uplift the life of the larger India, so to say, the India which lives in towns and villages. So, I mean, I don't have to really explain this point to somebody, all of you who are part of AISECT already. But for me, my life largely revolved around being a business executive, and I was a father, and I have always been a volunteer teacher because I really love teaching, so I have been teaching for a very, very long time. So these are the three phases of my life which I had before AI. After AI came, I just became this. There was this long period where I was constantly thinking, just how many areas will AI affect and just what kind of transformation is this kind of technology bringing? Because see, before this, we had one major technology explosion, which was the internet, just before AI, right? And internet was something that was a slow thing. It got, invented somewhere around 1960s. Then it took around 50, 60 years for it to really reach the stage where it has reached today. When it comes to AI, it is fairly new technology, but the kind of promise it has is just so significant. And we'll also try to get a little deeper into what really made me go into this mode here, that you really started thinking about how will we really work in the future? How will we really study in the future? As a father, how can I think about my kids' education in the future? And I really had to think twice, thrice, and I think for weeks I had to think about how all of these things are going to change. So let me give you some live demos now. I'm super happy because I don't have to talk. I have to show you things. So so one of the things, just let's take one example of what AI is capable of today. So this very simple one-line instruction I'm giving it. This is an AI called Cloud. It's a large language model built by this company called Anthropic. I'm asking it to make a D3.js rendering of cruising through the space, and I'm asking it to use HTML. This is some bit of techno jargon here, a little bit. I'm essentially asking it to make something for me.
Recording
right?
in progress.
Now, in a normal day, and I have worked with technology very closely, it would have easily taken a very senior programmer to write this code which is being written in front of you. May have taken 6-7 hours for somebody who was really good at it, a senior person, and then be able to come up with the graphics like this. Now we can do it in seconds. And this is not the most interesting part. The most interesting part here is make the stars go left to right and add some color to it. So now you are interacting with programming and coding, which is essentially thought
Recording
to be
in
something
progress.
which is a very highly technical field. Now you're interacting with it almost like it's a play. You're just thinking of it just like you're interacting with a game. So I just made some changes in the code here, and it was able to make a graphic like this. This is also not the most interesting part. The entire code which Cloud was able to write is here. I can use it. I can transform it in any way that I want. I can download it and again use it the way I want. And I can also ask Cloud to take up the role of a teacher and explain this entire code to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Right? So you are a teacher of computer science and an expert at coding. Now explain the code you have written above in simple words, step by step, explaining each aspect, and imagine that I am a 5-year-old. Now here I'm going back to Professor Feynman, who said that if you really want to understand something, try to teach it to a 5-year-old. Everything else is just jargon. So can you remove all the jargon? Can you just truly get to the soul of it? Right? This is what great teachers do, by the way, right? They explain things to you in such a way that there is no cloudiness in your brain. It's crystal clear, right? So what it is doing? Of course, I would be happy to explain the code as if you were a 5-year-old. Let's break it down into simple steps. Imagine we are making a magical space picture on a computer. Hey, how to do it? First, we create a big black canvas. This is like having a big black piece of paper to draw, and then it goes on to explain all of these things. Now, it is also telling you how to understand this code. Now, let's look at some special words. SVG, this is our magical drawing paper. D3, this is like our special set of coloring pencil that can draw and move things on their own. Function, this is like a recipe. It tells the computer exactly what to do to make part of a picture. When was the last time somebody explained coding, programming, computer science to you in such simple words? Now, this is a public technology, by the way. This is available for all of you to use. This is available across the world right now, right? So all of us have this ability to use this tool, and I think when it comes to education, the most powerful thing which I am seeing it do is, when we study, one of the biggest problem, and those of you who are teachers who obviously will be able to relate to this, so I have in my personal capacity, I have taught kids from nursery all the way to university, that entire gap. And what I normally feel is, when kids are super young, they are just so full of curiosity that
Recording
they do
in
not,
progress.
it's very difficult to stop them from asking questions. Like, for example, my daughter, he's 4 right now, and trust me, it gets very hard for me to keep answering her because she will not stop asking questions, right? But what happens is, the moment you move upper, like you do class 10, you in 8 and 9, algebra comes, arithmetic comes, or maybe some subject which, for some of us, English becomes that barrier. And then we stop asking questions because, there are these gaps in the education. And because of those gaps, our car is no longer sailing smooth. We are just falling into those gaps. What I see AI doing, especially from education point of view, and reason why, I was just telling Abhishek some time back that I think when it comes to AI, it is one of these technologies. AI can make many progress in many other parts of the society, right? It can be a great strategist. It can really build amazing things. But when it comes to education, and it's still time to do that. So AI is in its infancy, you can say. But when it comes to education, it is already at a stage where it can make very significant breakthroughs. And what's needed is, if you're an educator, you need to figure out how do you integrate AI into your life? How do you really design your curriculum? How do you become power user of AI so that it can become assistant for you? Okay, so that's a very powerful use case of AI here. So I took an example of coding because typically it is thought to be very complicated. But another very, very powerful way, which again, I'll share example of my daughter. What we do, I hope those of you who know ChatGPT, you'd know that you can talk to AI as well, right? So, if you have used the ChatGPT app, so there's a button which allows you to have a conversation with it, and this has become my daughter's favorite toy right now because, she will say, "Hi GPT, I want to hear the story of a vampire and an angel walking in a forest. Please tell me that story." So GPT will give it some story, then my daughter will say,
Recording in progress.
And an angel walking in a forest. Victor, with his dark cloak and pale skin, wandered the forest every night.
GPT, I also want you to add Maya, my daughter, into the story and make it walk along with those characters. So, what I'm doing here is we are customizing a story, which was never possible. So we are taking a story and then putting characters into it in the middle of it. So for a child, young brain, you can literally think that now for them, stories are no longer something which a great writer has written and I don't have any part to play in it. Now they are co-writers of stories. So that's the amazing new way of looking at education, new way of looking at how learning can take place is what I wanted to convey to you. Some more application here before we move further to more interesting stuff. So let's say you are Rabindranath Tagore. Okay. Again, I'm using the same. There are many other stuff also which you can use.
Recording in progress.
Show you something else also which will be interesting for you. So what I'm showing you right now is called character.ai, again a public tool available for all of you. This is the second most visited AI website in the world. So one is ChatGPT obviously because everybody uses it. So character.ai has a lot of characters in it, already trained to behave in a certain way. So let's take an example of Socrates, which is something I chat with a lot because at least those of us who are teachers, we all respect Socrates for what he did to learning and teaching, the Socratic method of teaching, as you know, that method of learning through question and answer. So now this one behaves exactly like Socrates. It talks like Socrates, it behaves like Socrates. And the fun part is, so you can obviously have a conversation with Socrates there, but if you go to their app, they have built a feature which is so really amazing, and I highly recommend all of you use this if you have not. You can actually make a call to Socrates. You can just call him up, okay? And let's say, we will do a little demo. Hi Socrates, I'm Shabbir and I'm here with a lot of teachers at AISECT Bhopal. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience of teaching?
Young one, you ask a question with much depth to it. My experience of teaching is one of constant refinement and growth. Every interaction with a student is a dance between what they know and what they still must learn. It is a delicate balance that demands patience, wisdom, and humility from the teacher. For the student is always...
This is Socrates talking, essentially. And not just Socrates, I mean, you can talk to Einstein, you can talk to Elon Musk, whoever you want. You can talk to any of the historical figures that we have. You can train them. You can just, let's say, take 20, 30 books which they have written and upload it on an AI. And again, you don't need to be a computer engineer to do this. That's the beautiful part. All of you can do this right now with zero knowledge of IT or computer sciences. You just need to be a basic internet user. So that's the kind of technology which I saw, which got me into that mode which I mentioned. You know, I really started thinking very deeply about where this is heading and what can we really do with it. So basically, because of that, I came up with some 3 hypotheses, which I would love to share with you. So the first hypothesis which I felt was that the future is already here, but it's just not evenly distributed. Again, I don't need to tell this to those of you who are in AISECT because this is what you do. You work on even distribution of access, resources, education, skills, right? That's what you do. So with AI, that gets turbocharged. Because let's say in the Bay Area right now, whatever is happening in the frontier labs of AI, we want at least the user application of it to diffuse across the society at a very fast pace, because the benefits is literally like low-hanging fruits. I mean, whatever I showed you so far, don't you think every kid and every teacher in India and the world needs to know that? So from that perspective, we quickly need to do the distribution of this. And this is a small message from somebody I really admire.
So the whole being is your tool. So it's you know, it becomes a kind of a responsibility, or a kind of, you should enjoy taking care of oneself.
Take care of your soul
Soul also, you know. That's what it is, you know, to enrich your soul through your job. It has to have communication both ways. Otherwise, you're doing injustice to your job. Yeah, you're killing a possibility.
That's lovely.
Peaceful.
So Irfan here, obviously, you know, he embodies somebody who really worked in ways that, you know, his soul was really resonating with what he was doing. Unfortunately, we live in a world today where most of us don't like our jobs. It's a truth. I have worked in the industry, a very competitive, brutal industry for close to 12 years, and I know I have met a lot of people who don't really enjoy their job, but then there is no choice, because jobs are limited anyways. So, you know, loving your job becomes a second priority. First is just getting the money to run your family. Obviously, this higher aspect of your soul resonating with your job and you doing something where you are doing justice to your personality, that becomes a secondary thing, right? But again, with AI, the promise is that because it's able to help you at a very foundational way, it's able to really clear concepts for you, it's really able to be an assistant for you, it's really able to be a co-brain for you, a co-intelligence for you. In fact, a professor in Wharton recently wrote a book called Co-Intelligence, because that's how he sees AI. From that perspective, are we looking that in the next 5 or 10 years, all of us will take care of all the gaps we have, all the young learners we have in the country today, they are able to learn things at a very foundational level without even having access to a lot of good teachers. So let's assume, you know, a kid who is living in a village in Maharashtra, he has a government school where they have very few teachers and doesn't really have access to the teacher all the time. Even if you think about private tutoring, what does it mean? In private tutoring, you have a teacher sitting with you for 1 hour, right? And you can only ask some questions to, otherwise the teacher will also get annoyed. So we have the limitation of time also. Even if those of us who are very caring teachers, how much time can you give to your student anyways? With AI, can you then now think of, a very trusted assistant for you who is taking care of all the gaps of the student? Student has no hesitation to ask questions because it knows it's a machine. It can ask 10,000 questions to the teacher. And then when the student comes to you in the class, then you are only talking about higher level stuff or demonstrating whatever learning has taken place, building things along with your students. That's the kind of future that we are looking at. And if you ask me, is the technology already there? Yes, it is there. I mean, that's what I'm trying to show you. I'm not talking about the future technology. I'll be talking about that a little later. The future is still brighter than this, but this is already here. So the food for thought of all of you educators here is, how do you leverage this? How do you integrate this into your lives? And how do you make students 10x student, which means 10 times more effective? And how do you make yourself as a professional 10 times more effective? Just a figure of speech, not really 10 times, but more efficient version of yourself. So that's something that to be kept in mind. The third hypothesis which I had when I was exploring all these technologies at depth was that AI will really change the world. And those of us who are optimists, we always say this about every new thing which comes up, that this will change the world, right? But there's no harm to it, right? If you want the world to become a better place, just how is it harmful? You're actually wanting to, and it will actually help you wake up and think of great new things which you can do. So that's the third hypothesis which I have, and all of this comes from the instruction given by Karl Popper. Those of you who are into sociology will know him, that he had said that science is all about trying to falsify things, right? So science means it makes some prediction. That's how science works. So it makes a prediction, and as a scientist, your goal is not to ensure that the prediction is right. Your goal is to ensure the prediction is wrong, because only when you falsify things that knowledge expands. You get to know new things, right? That's the method through which science grows, and that's what I will also highly encourage with all of you, that when you are dealing with AI, when you're dealing with all these hypotheses that AI will change the world and AI will give us the perfect teachers, try to falsify it, because at least right now you have a huge edge. You are humans. You have something which AI does not have. You have EQ, emotional quotient, which, I mean, at this stage perhaps AI is not that great there. So try to see it from that perspective. Now also some little bit more talk about the big history of AI, so that you can really, in your mind, you can really have let's say, a mental model for how to think about AI. Okay, and I'm just sharing what I think about AI. So I have also been into quizzing for a long time. So I usually ask a lot of questions. Apparently, right now you are in a way my students. So I'm asking this question to all of you. Can you connect these two images? That Apple logo there, this movie poster here. Any idea? Yeah, go ahead, Abhishek. Yeah. Correct. That in World War II, so this movie was about how do you crack the code which Germans were making, right? That Enigma code, yes. So that's there, but there is one more very interesting connect. I mean, do you know this person here, Benedict Cumberbatch? Who was he playing in the movie? Do you know that? Alan Turing. Yes. Okay. So the connect here is Alan Turing, and why the connect? Because Apple logo is inspired by Alan Turing, by the way. So Steve Jobs was a big admirer of Alan Turing, and when he created Apple company, he wanted to pay homage to Alan Turing, so he created that Apple. And there's a bitten apple, right? Because there's the story about how Alan Turing had to commit suicide by biting on a poisoned apple because of certain circumstances in his life. Very unfortunate, obviously. We lost a great genius. So the connect is this, and I'll be talking a little bit more about the imitation game, the name of the movie here. So this is Alan Turing, the real Alan Turing, and he said that I propose to consider the question, can machines think? He was one of the few earliest technologists, scientists to say that while machines can do a lot of work, it can automate things, it can do manual labor and all of that, but can it also think the way that humans think, right? And what he had said, it was actually part of a research paper. This is the name of the research paper. It's publicly available. All of you can see it. It's called Computing, Machinery and Intelligence. This was the first research paper where he proposed this question. And in this paper, he came up with this concept called the imitation game, right? It's also called the Turing test. Those of you have heard this term before. It essentially means that, imagine a scenario that, I am a human. I am actually a human. And there are two rooms here. This is room A and room B. But there is a barrier between me and the rooms. I can't see who is who, right? Now imagine in one of the rooms, a person is sitting, and one of the rooms, a robot is sitting. I'm a human. I'm evaluating them. I'm asking questions to both, same questions to both. And I'm studying their responses. And I'm trying to figure which response came from a human and which response came from a robot. Basically, I'm trying to figure which room mein robot hai. Alan Turing said, a time will come when robots or AI, for that matter, AI is a robot is an AI in one way or another. A time will come when it will be very difficult to distinguish a human from an AI. Because the AI will be able to imitate a human. That's why it's called the imitation game, right? So that's called the Turing test. And if you have seen the movie Blade Runner, it's based on this entire concept. That the day will come when Turing test will be passed and we'll have machines which are smarter than, more intelligent than humans, to the point that you will not be able to recognize that who is a human and who is a machine. Many people are saying today, and industry is divided on it, some are saying that the Turing test has been passed already. But there are times when you're talking to a LLM and you can't differentiate whether it's human or not. Some people are saying it's still not there, but it's a debatable thing. So that's one point to keep in our mind. And what we are doing here is we are trying to build a landscape of AI for us to have a model to fall back on. This one is a output by Google Research. They said that a roundworm has 302 neurons, fruit fly has 10,000, humans have some 86 trillion neurons. Why I'm talking about neuron in particular is because what's really happening with AI is we are kind of building neurons. That's essentially what we are doing in AI. Now, that's a very broad statement, so let me make it a little more granular. So the first person to say that machine should be able to think was Alan Turing, correct? That's what we talked about. So if machines can think, machines will have to learn, right? Only then they can think. So naturally, this entire field of study is then called machine learning. That the machine can learn. So you give it a large amount of data, and it is able to make sense of that data. It can learn from that data. So that's machine learning, right? So that's the beginning point of, you can say, what has now become generative AI. So now in machine learning, one of the things which some scientists who were in Canada, they came up with this idea, Mr. Jeffrey Hinton, now called the godfather of AI. So he came up with this idea that, while we are trying to make machines learn and think, why don't we do bioengineering, biomimicry, so to say. Not bioengineering, biomimicry, where you mimic real stuff and sort of make it into machines. So he came up with this idea that, the way our brain works, so our brain has neurons, right? And then we have neurotransmitter, so signal going from one neuron to another, and that's how information flows. He said, can we do something similar in a machine format, right? So he built something which is now called a neural network, okay? And that neural network, so usually you have an input layer and an output layer, and then in between there are many layers, similar to the way our brain works. Now, and this is one way to help machines learn. So this is one of the methods how you do machine learning, right? So it's called deep learning. Why deep learning? Because you have very deep layers, multiple layers in this neural network. So that's called deep learning, right? Now, in this neural network, which you see here, and in fact the photo on the right where the movements are happening, that was the first example of a neural network which was able to understand human handwriting. That was the first breakthrough in neural networks, or a deep neural network, so to say. that you write something and computer is able to understand it. And it is able to understand because obviously it can think. Because you need some thinking. Only humans can do this. So in this same neural network, when you put in the input layer, when you put the entire world of language and text data which is available, and that obviously became possible because of the internet. When internet came, we started putting so many books and so many of our information out there on the internet. So when you put all the text which is available there, very large amount of language into the input layer, then that is called an LLM, large language model. So in a deep neural network, when you put a lot of language, lot of text, all the books in the world that you can imagine, that becomes a large language model. And it was seen that somehow, so from deep learning, you went to large language model. Large language model is a type of deep learning. So it's one of the applications of deep learning, right? So when it was seen, when you put all this large amount of data about the world, just a moment, I think it's the WhatsApp doing that problem. Yeah, this is better now. So in a large language model, you essentially put huge amount of data from the internet, and it was seen that it is able to make sense of the world. It's able to make sense of how people think about the world and how the world works, at least from a theoretical point of view, right? And large language models is essentially two big files. One file has all the data of the world, all the text and everything, and then you have a simple, very small executable file written in C, and bring them together, and suddenly you are able to get this, what I showed you. You have ChatGPT, you have Cloud, you have Gemini, you have Llama, and all of that. Okay, so that's how large language models work. And the last piece when it comes to big history and how you have to understand the larger context of what we are talking here. So there have been some general purpose technologies that has hit society and transformed society. The first one is obviously fire. Think about how the transformational effect fire has had on the human society. With fire, you could cook food. Because you could cook food, you could digest it faster. Because you can digest your food faster, your brain has more time to think. And then you're able to make agriculture and wheels and inventions. So that was one. Obviously, second one was printing press, because with which knowledge could be distributed. Third one was steam engine, through which you could make machines, which could do a lot of work in a very short span of time. And then we have electricity. Again, all of you know how important electricity is. But all of these were general purpose technologies. Funny how the short form is GPT for general purpose technology as well. AI is also a general purpose technology, but the one major difference is, so far every general purpose technology which we have had in the past was always outside you. Electricity was outside you, fire was outside you. You used it to become more efficient, maybe 10%, 20%. AI will be something which is more internal. It will directly influence the way you think, the way you work, how your intelligence works. It's like a co-intelligence. So the effect of AI clubbed with all the other general purpose technology is going to be something like, obviously this is a speculation by a very, very highly techno-optimist person called Tim Urban. Definitely I read his blog some 10 years back about what will happen in AI, and he was able to figure out everything that's happening now 10 years back. So this is what he's saying, we are going to move to an exponential curve as a society. So the pace of technology, pace of progress will become very, very fast. And somewhere we are witnessing that also. I mean, whatever is happening in the last 2 years, I don't think things have happened so fast in any other technology before. So that's the thing we have ahead of us. So if those of you who are into memes, students online, you will understand the memes better. So AI is essentially about getting yourself a very big brain, so to say, becoming very, very smart and intelligent. And that obviously will have huge effect on GDP, in your productivity, in your quality of your life. Essentially, if your mind is sorted, everything else is sorted, right? So if you are having an intelligence partner, it's actually a very big deal. That's what I'm trying to convey. This one piece here, somebody had written a tweet, and I show it to everyone where I meet and do these sessions, that the first 10,000 years of human history was just the training data for the next 10,000. So everything that our ancestors, our poets, our mathematicians, scientists, thinkers, authors wrote, it all became an intelligence a layer of intelligence which will now shape the rest of the society. AI will also, we are witnessing this tremendous improvement in the intelligence of AI, which is, started with ants, like ants. There's this term called AI winter, where nothing was happening for almost 50 years in AI. A lot of development have started taking place 2017 onwards. So, it will, from ant, it will go to bird, to chimp, eventually reaching a stage like dumb humans, which it is today. But then pretty soon it will reach a stage of Einstein, and then is it that all of you will really take notice. So one of the reasons why Abhishek has called me, so that before that happens, all of you are aware that you should get ready for this. Yeah. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll again get into a set of demos. Before that, any question you have, happy to take them, because now I'll be doing some demos for you. So any question you have so far, happy to take them. Done? Okay. So then let me give you some demos. Typically this demo here works, but I do need some volunteers for the demo, by the way. If some of you can really help me here. So what I'll first of all show you is how you can, very quickly make decent quality presentations. I will not say great quality presentations, but decent quality presentations. And so this is a tool here called, are you the volunteer? Oh, super. Okay. So you can sit where you are. It's just that, I'll need to do some interaction with you, so that will make it easy for me. So this is a tool here called Gamma. Obviously, right now, there are tools coming every day, and maybe dozens of tools coming every day in AI. I'm just showing you one of the tools. Any of you have used this tool earlier? Can you raise your hand? You have used, okay. Anybody else? No, okay. So this tool quickly allows you to make presentations, websites, documents, etc. But that's not the big deal. The big deal is that it really makes the thinking part much easier for you. Okay, so let's take an example here. So I will make a 15-slide presentation. And this is one of the things, sometimes, those of us who are more action-oriented, we hate documentation, to be very honest. Report banana and, presentation banana, because somehow feels like a time killer, but we have to do it because we don't have a choice. Now, what I'll try to show you is how you can go ahead and do that at the same time, not really waste too much time on doing that. So, yes, where is my volunteer? Okay, so I want to make a presentation. Okay, what do you do? If you can take your name and tell me something about yourself.
My name is Shabbir Haider from MOOCs department.
So, Shabbir, you are from which department?
MOOCs department, Massive Open Online Courses department.
Oh, super. Wow. Okay. So let's say you have to make a presentation which is part of your job, right? Give me one topic to make a presentation on.
SLM making, self-learning material.
Okay. Okay. So, and who is it for?
For students.
For
students.
For students. So I'll need more help from you. So let's start with this. You are a expert in MOOCs and SLM creations. Now create a SLM for which students?
Graduation students.
For graduation students.
Undergraduate.
Which field?
Management.
Management. So now create SLM for bachelor's of management course, such that, what is the objective of this presentation? Like what's the goal of this presentation? What do you want people to learn?
Self-learning material ke liye.
Okay, to give them a broad idea about management. Got it. Now create a SLM for bachelor of management course such that it can give students a larger overview of management sciences.
Management sciences or degrees, huh? Okay.
Management practices. Huh?
Practices, yes.
Management practices. Now see, I have not told it the full form of MOOC or SLM. Let's try. If it understands, great. Otherwise, we will also teach it that, right? Now the good thing is, unlike a chat GPT where you quickly get an answer, here it is also telling you the structure behind it. So now it is telling you, introduction to management practices, what is MOOC, benefits of MOOC, designing a self-paced learning module, that's SLM? Yes. Okay, so we are on the right track then. Self-learning material, so we have to change that. This is where the human comes in. Self-learning material. material. Okay. Key components of effective SLM: defining learning objective for management practices, selecting appropriate content, incorporating interactive element, fostering collaborative learning, etc., etc., etc. It's ending with facilitating peer-to-peer feedback and monitoring and evaluation of SLM effectiveness. Okay. Anything else you want to change, edit here? Something that it is missing?
इसको ऐसे बनाने देते हैं पहले, फिर हम इसमें change करेंगे.
Cool. So now what it will do is, now it will do the presentation making. Essentially, it will allow you to pick up a theme. I think it's picked up a decent theme only. Let's go with it. So, and it can make a website and a document in a similar way. Not giving you answer directly. First thinking through, giving you some idea of what it is capable of, the structure of it, and then it gives you the output. So this is what it is making right now, okay? And it is pretty fast. So right now it is in slide 2. But while it is slide 2, you can actually start presenting also. It's so quick and fast that it can do things, right? It's talked about introduction to management practices as the cornerstone of effective business operation. Management practices encompass a broad range of strategies, and all of this is editable, by the way. So don't think that AI has given you something and it is static. You can come here and make any kind of edits that you want. You can delete, add, change the photo. Okay, so all of that is possible. So let's go through what it is making. What is a MOOC? Benefits of MOOC: accessibility, scalability, flexibility, affordability. Yes, I kind of agree with it. Designing a self-learning material. So what do you have to do? Step 1 is defining learning objective, which I asked you that. Second was structured content, incorporate multimedia, foster interactivity. If you think that this is not covered it fully, come here and then sort of, ask it to improve the writing. So it will again, rethink through how it can go about it again. And so you can almost think of it like an interactive tool, but it is unlike PowerPoint where you had to do all the thinking, and PowerPoint was just there sitting to just give you the graphics and text on it. Here it is doing thinking with you, which is the big change in AI I'm talking about. It's co-intelligence. So it's your brain and this brain getting together, and it's a very powerful thing.
Really.
That's the thing I want to convey here. See, everything else is just optics. I mean, all of us are smart enough to understand how to use. We can take courses, but my goal here is to sort of focus more on the mindset part of it. What is AI? AI is essentially something which can help you really change the way you think about work, about life, about how you approach things. It's a co-intelligence. So we have to think of using it in that particular way. So you can also, let's say, change it, try a different layout. You don't like the presentation here, so you can think of a different layout in which it will do it. Just a moment. So it can do all of that, and now so far it has already completed this presentation. So now it has changed the layout for you in more stacked kind of format. So it's up to you which visual style you like. Selecting appropriate content and resources. What are the ways? Identify key topics, curate reliable sources, achieve balanced coverage, incorporating interactive elements. Okay, so multiple stuff. We'll not go into the too much detail of it. You can then share it with any of your friends. You can add their email ID. You can export it, download it as a PDF or a PowerPoint. Again, you can make as many edits you want to put into it. Now, again, another thing which comes to my mind is, because I was working so closely on technology transformation for organizations. So thing is, if you are able to see something like this is possible, at the same time your organization is also very aware that something like this is possible. So the kind of premium which we put on making a presentation, on creating a very neat document, that premium is gone. Anybody can do it in 2 minutes. Then the important thing is, what value do you bring on the table as a professional? That has become more important. So I'm saying, I think somewhere this manual part of our jobs as knowledge worker is sort of going away, and it is taking us directly to the core of our job, which Irfan Khan was saying about, something which resonates deeply with your soul. Can you do that now? I think somewhere it's closer to do that now. Really bringing, he just appeared when I took his name. So this is a PowerPoint presentation here. So again, you can look decent design and all that, right? And obviously this, so rather than starting from a blank slate, which is such a scary thing for all of us as professionals, we can start with something which is there, and obviously use our precaution and everything to make it even better. So as somebody said that, somebody who's using AI, and as a human, if you're using AI, you are literally irreplaceable, because then you are the most intelligent person in your field. And especially those of you who are experts, obviously you'll be able to use AI in ways which others can't. So let's say if you are somebody who are working on MOOCs, right? I will never be able to compete with you because you have the subject level knowledge of this. You have you know when the AI will get wrong. I will not know that.
Yes.
So you have a solid moat of being an expert, a professional expert in the topic. So AI will further strengthen you as an expert, right? So that's something that's good to know. Then we move to the other aspect. I will also tell you about few more tools here. So, and with this set of tools, the intent will be that we'll want to think, how do we work and research like scientists do, with that framework of a scientist, and how do we talk to documents and books in a very simple, easy way, so it's fun, so that knowledge is not a barrier but more a segue for us to. You can sit down, please. You can sit down. Okay, so let's do a demo of these. So because of the paucity of time, frankly speaking, if I were to really give a AI masterclass, it will easily take some 10, 12 sessions because of the kind of depth which AI offers. But I'll briefly tell you about this thing called custom GPT, offline LLMs. Okay, some of them. So let's talk about this tool, which obviously all of you have been using, you use, and this is something you are all familiar with. Now, how do you really come to ChatGPT and really make some very significant improvements in which the way you interact with it and get value from it? Okay. So for that, I will talk about something which is called the custom GPT. Just a moment, it is getting loaded. Yeah. So if you come here to this, what it's called, this custom GPTs, this is essentially like, Chat GPT is basically you go somewhere and you ask questions and get answer. That's the most basic plain vanilla way of using GPT. Custom GPT is where you give it certain instruction pre-formed, and then it is able to generate answers for you the way that you want. So let me give you one example. This is something that I have built. It's called the Visual Bhagavad Gita because I really like the book. It's a very amazing book. But I'm also a very visual person. I just don't like words. I also like images. So what I did was, I trained it in such a way that it is able to give me a quote along with a photo as well, so that it's more interesting for me. So it really sticks in my mind. So I've just asked it, share a quote in English. So rather than giving me, ChatGPT will typically give you an output, right? It will give you a text. But let's see what it is trying to give me. And it's obviously is happening live. It is a public tool. All of you can use it. So what it did was, it gave me a quote. He who is rooted in oneness realizes that I am in every being. Wherever he goes, he remains in me. So that's a verse from the Bhagavad Gita, verse 31, chapter 6. And it also gave me an image to go with it. Right? There are ways now that this images can also be manipulated. So you can come here and let's say, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But let's try. Put a crown on his head. So this is the level of editing and manipulation now that is possible using AI. But the thing is, what I will highly recommend to you is, because if you are working as a researcher, as a management professional, create these GPTs for yourself. Make the GPT study about you, who you are, what you want, what are your expectations, so that when you go and have an interaction with it, it is specifically focused on that particular role which you have given it. So this one, its one job is to give me quotes from the Bhagavad Gita. That's the only job it has, in a certain style. So I don't have to think each time that I have to do this. So, and why I call this thinking like a scientist is, scientists create these frameworks, they create these models, and you don't have to do everything from scratch all the time. So that's an interesting development in AI that we are witnessing. In very near term, so at least in Silicon Valley, so it is able to put a crown, but it also put up a beard for Arjun. So in the Silicon Valley, at the forefront of AI research, AI has already become a topic of the past. People are now talking about AI agents. AI agent is something which, so AI will do one level of reasoning for you, give it an input, it give an output. But AI agent, which everybody is now building AI agents, by the way, all the big labs are building AI agents. It's a multi-chain reasoning tool. So one example of my interaction of dealing with an AI agent was, so I'm very interested in one of the goals which Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam had shown us when we were in school, and he used to be the president of India, is that he said that he wants India to become a developed country. And what a reasonable thing to ask. Why should you not want your country to be a developed country? So so I had asked one of these AI agents that if you were to make India a developed country and be a consultant to the Planning Commission and Niti Aayog and submit a document from there to the PMO, what will you do? How will you go about it? So it was not a simple ChatGPT task. It was very interesting to see how it was thinking. So I'll just tell you my experience of what it was able to think. Initially, it told me, the first thing I will do is I will study all the developed countries in the world. I'll study all the underdeveloped countries in the world. I'll study all the developing countries in the world, and I'll study how they went about their journey. Then it asked me, do you want me to do it? I said, yes, please go ahead. So it went ahead and it researched the internet, studied Brazil, Argentina, US, all of that. Then after that, it asked me, which area do you want me to focus on? I mean, do you want me to focus on industry? Do you want me to focus on education? Because in order for India to become a developed country, it's not a one-line thing. In order for us to become developed, we have to have very robust education, robust infrastructure, robust economy, and all of that. So I asked you to focus on industry and education. This was around 1 year back. This tool was obviously at its very early stages. It was not really able to give the final output in a very concrete way. But this is where AI is heading. That we will have AI agents which can do multiple chain of reasoning, and then obviously be able to be much more effective than what it is today. What you see here, this GPT, you can think of it as similar. It did two things at the same time. No, here see, it made a photo, it drew this line and gave a quote, picking up from a book. Now, how I had built this, let me show you that also. How something like this can be built. It's not difficult at all. So you come here, because this is my GPT, so I can take you under the hood and show you how this gets built. So first of all, I gave it few versions of the Bhagavad Gita. One written by Eknath Eshwaran, Swami Tapasyananda. 4 books I gave it so that it has a reference point. Then I told it what are the initial conversation starter. I told it what the output should look like. See, I told it this GPT provides user with a quote from the Bhagavad Gita. Default setting is the language is English, art style is black and white manga. Other options are you can choose the language of the quote. Users can specify a different art form also. So, if now I will ask it, what are the art forms you can do? Let's see what output it will give. Okay, maybe because I'm under the hood, it's not. I'll come to this later. So I basically told it, that these are different art forms you can make the art in, different languages you can use. So I have already given it some thinking ground. So let's say if you are, heading one particular business operations. Right now, obviously, there's a limitation of organizational data to be put in ChatGPT. All of that is obviously a limitation. But let's say going forward, how you can think of using AI is, each of you in the room will have a personal assistant. All of you. Because if you think about this tool here, it costs 2,000 per month? Do you really think the output we are getting from it is worth 2,000? It is worth lakhs of rupees. We also have free versions. So there is one version. How many of you have used Quora before? Quora? A lot of hands. Same team, the team behind Quora, they have built this. It's called PO, Platform for Open Exploration. This one is free, allows you access to many models of AI, and here you can create bots for yourself also. Same way which I built that bot. You can specify it, what kind of behavior you want, how do you want, what knowledge base you want to give it. All of that you can do, right? Now coming back here, so it is telling me here, you can choose the following art forms: black and white manga, traditional Indian painting, watercolor painting, sketch art, digital art. In fact, I had trained it on some 20 different styles of painting. So you can have all of that. So let's say I want 2 traditional Indian painting. Now here you see in the training data, I did not teach it which all traditional painting is there. I didn't upload any painting of an artist because it was trained on so many digital inputs and data which was there available across the internet. It is able to figure out what is digital Indian art, and it is now able to create something which resembles a digital Indian art, right? This is where also, the concern of artists is also coming, that what happens to our work. If you have used our work as training data, have you compensated it? That remains a limitation of this technology here. But I think as we move forward, as this becomes more mature, we'll be able to solve that as well. So right now it is creating this particular painting for you. Meantime, I'll move ahead. We'll come back, we'll see what the output is like. But I'll highly recommend you that all of you should be, training these custom bots for yourself, making these assistants for yourself, and then making good use of it. Now, I will show you another very interesting tool through which you can talk to documents in ways you have never imagined before. Yeah, this will be very important for you from an organizational point of view. Let me just close this ChatGPT loop here. So now it has created this document. Yeah, this is what it created. According to it, it's a traditional Indian art, and obviously you can specify you want Varli painting, you want Bengali traditional art painting, all of that, because it's trained on a very large amount of data. So from artistic point of view, you can have so many variations. Now Humata here, obviously you can do this entire thing in ChatGPT also, cloud also, but this tool is very fascinating because it really breaks the barrier of language and of knowledge for us. So how many of you have used this tool before, Humata? You have used, you have also used. So this tool here, you know what it does. Let's say we have a document, so you can upload documents here, any document of your choice. It can be any language also, right? And then you can start interacting with it. So let me show you how this can be done. So I've just uploaded one document. And so here the good part is that the document gets loaded on one side and you have a chat on the other side, right? So what interesting part is that whenever you are asking a question, it can also tell you where it is getting the answer from, so you can verify it. So again, this is something important for academicians, scientists, because you need to verify information, right? So let's say I ask it a question, summarize this document for you, for me, and tell me parts which are important for an educator. So this is document is Broadcasting Content Compliance Council. They are the people who put all the, you can think of them as the censor board in a way. So it is saying that the document outlines guidelines set by the BCC in India regarding the regulation of TV programs to ensure responsible content. That's the policy document. It categorizes programs as G for unrestricted, R for basically that rating that we get, right? Now, the other question which I asked was more relevant to you. For educators, the important part of the document include guidelines on categorizing programs based on content suitability for children, as well as themes that are covered and prohibited. Educators can use this information to ensure that the content they use aligns with the ethical principles. So that's the document all about. Now you may want, give me the same summary in Hindi. And obviously it can be Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yep. So the two ways to do it. See, if you are comfortable of putting that in a GPT or a cloud, so you can utilize that, and it's a very straightforward way to use it, as long as it's a public document. So then it's the easiest use case. Easiest use case. So you can just upload, let me show you how you can do that in fact. Do you want to give me an example of any such document? Let me take any. Let me take any, no? So I will just here, I'm using cloud and so let me do one thing, no? We created a presentation for MOOC here. So let me utilize that. So I uploaded that presentation and then I'll say, please create a set of 10 MCQ based questions from this document and make it from simple to increasingly difficult level for class bachelor students, no? For bachelor students. Document somehow didn't get uploaded. Let me do it again. So I uploaded this. Maybe it's the size is a little bigger. Let me see if I can have. Let me take the Bhagavad Gita maybe. The document is somehow not getting uploaded, but that's okay. We can put some other one. We can also use ChatGPT for the same. Let's try ChatGPT. Let's use the same document whether we can. And we copy the same prompt also. So we are using two sets of documents. There's actually a bigger document, that's why it's taking time. So this one has happened here. Then based on this document and make it simple, increasingly difficult for bachelor students. Okay? Let's see how it goes about it. This one will create an MCQ on the Bhagavad Gita obviously because we have put the Bhagavad Gita as a input. Here it will do it for the MOOC. Oh, sorry, but I made one mistake. I uploaded it. If I wanted good quality answer, sorry, go ahead please. No, the mistake which I did here was, when I asked it the question, I should have mentioned that I should have given it a particular role, that you are an educator, you are an expert at this particular area, then it would have been more sharper. So that's definitely a mistake which I made there. But nonetheless, now this one gave a MCQ on the Bhagavad Gita. It's giving you answer also, which is the answer and all of that you can create. And here with cloud, you can create, very interesting, create an interactive website for me to conduct this quiz along with taking answer inputs from students.
If there is any queries, you can go ahead, but please, we can stop the murmur at least. Thank you.
Imagine you are a expert in designing educational. Here I'm not repeating the mistake, right? Content for college students. So I specified, the role part is actually very important. You have to specify, otherwise the quality of output comes down. So it created a MCQ on the Bhagavad Gita, and I've also asked now create a website where I can see this thing, and as a student I can go and appear for this exam in a way. So it is doing all the coding and stuff. Show this website to me on the artifact. So the tab which you see on the right side, it's called an artifact in cloud, where it displays stuff for you. Soon is creating, I'll create a simple interactive version of the Bhagavad Gita quiz website on React, using React. Obviously, this is, I'll say, more advanced use for those of you who use to build website and all that. But for straightforward stuff, just basic getting that question and answer itself is pretty good. Who is the main speaker in the Bhagavad Gita? Okay. Is that Vyas? Krishna? Okay. What is the setting of the Bhagavad Gita? A battlefield. Like this. You can, could not have thought of something like this, maybe even a year back, but now we have such technologies that, so essentially the barrier between you and your ability to interact with the students has just gotten down. Just a moment, this should be on. Okay, so that's some of the stuff which you can start using right away. Now we'll go a little deeper into, so I've showed you custom GPT, Humata, very useful. Just for the sake of demo, I also want to show you an offline LLM, because this is again something is pretty futuristic. No, it was something else, no? Let me come to that a little later. Let me show you another tool which can be very, very important for you from a teacher's point of view, as an educator point of view. And those of you who are online and are students, again for you this is a very, very critical tool. So this one here is called Perplexity. And Perplexity is, you can think of it as the new version of Google, so to say. Because Perplexity is Chat GPT and Google combined. So it has a LLM, it has all the ability to perform like an LLM, but at the same time it is fully connected to the internet, so it does live search for you, and you can do some really, really amazing things with it. Let me show you. Give me a detailed profile about the organization AISECT and the SGSU University. Provide all the latest activities these organizations have been conducting. So by latest, I'm trying for it to sort of go to the internet, see what is the most latest information here. Work like a journalist. Again, I have given it some sort of a role so that there is some accuracy. Like a journalist specializing in the development sector in India. That's a context which I gave it. So here, why it is so very important for you to know this, this tool, and obviously going forward, even Google will have similar kind of feature, but it's just that, this is the latest and the most advanced which I have found so far. So it is telling you AISECT and Scope Global Skills University has been at the forefront of promoting skill development and cultural understanding among students in India. Here are some of the latest activities. So Skill Fusion Fest 24. Is it even happening? So it was able to pull that out from the internet. Kaushal Charcha, which today we are part of this, the World Youth Skill Day, Vishwarang 2024, Skills on Wheels. Essentially, it read a lot of stuff which was there on the internet and created a neat report for you. Yeah. So again, huge time saver. And if you really want to see the output, just look at all the sources where it picked stuff from. The SGS University website, AP News, LinkedIn, and SGSU Gujarat government. So all of these websites it was able to pick it up from. Okay. So again, very, very critical and important, especially for those of you who are into research. You have to study the internet. I think this is a faster and a quicker way of bringing the internet. Now with this, we will have a little bit of fun now, because I think quite a bit of heavy, heavy, deep discussions that we have been having. So what we'll do is, we'll understand how to make some images, videos, audio, songs, all of that. AI is also very, very good at that. One image you already saw. So ChatGPT was able to create this image of Krishna using their inherent image generation tool called DALL-E. But when it comes to the best in the world, the one AI which is the best as of now, till it gets toppled by some other big lab, is called Midjourney. Midjourney is able to create images where it's very hard for you to distinguish it from reality. That's a big advantage which Midjourney has. So, and now it has become very simple. Previously it was complicated, but now you can just go to the main Midjourney website and make an image of your choice. But I'll tell you a more smarter way to go about it. Let's say you want to create an image of this conference, so to say, right? So what I will do ideally is, I'll click conference and see images which are similar. So these are all similar images. I'll pick one which I like. So maybe, let's say, so there's so many images of conferences happening. Let's say we like this one. Then we'll see what the person has written to create this. It says people in seminar wearing business suit, and he's put some DSLR effect. Okay. What we'll do is we'll copy the prompt. So this is an example of learning through a community. You don't have to reinvent the wheel each time. Somebody has written the prompt, you take that prompt, modify it, and sort of build your own. So let's say we see people in seminar in India wearing business suit, and you want to change the aspect ratio, doesn't really matter. You can sort of make it 16:1, a big image, cinematic image. And you can make it an afternoon natural light. So it's, think of it this, just a moment, yeah. This is the instruction you're giving, not very, very complicated, some very simple instruction only. Let me remove the aspect ratio altogether. So that's the instruction which you gave it, and with that instruction itself, it is able to, so now it's generating that image for you, right? And while it's generating that image, let's also move to, other tools which again are pretty exciting. This is especially for those of you who have kids, who you want them to teach AI, use this route, because kids tend to enjoy all this entertaining stuff a lot more than the heavy duty stuff which we discuss. So this is the kind of conference it has been able to create. Some image are sensible, some are not. We pick ones which we like and then obviously improve upon that. But this is something that we made right now. We created it right now. Yeah, you have a question? Well, correct. Because image generation के जो generative AI tools हैं, they are very good at image making, but text बहुत अच्छा नहीं पकड़ते. But that's getting better very fast. So for example, Stability नाम की एक organization है which works especially on this area. They have come up with their SD3 model where image generation में text is more accurate now. Midjourney has also gotten better. We can try it out. Tell me something which you want to write. Okay. Make an image. Make a diagram showing parts of computers and label them correctly. This one definitely is a complex task, so it will have issues. So what I can advise you on this is, make the image on Midjourney, go to Canva, they have a grab text feature. Then just change the text. That's a very fast way of making good infographic. In Canva grab text, all the text it will recognize instantly. Then you can just go and type what you want to, till this technology gets to the stage where you want it to be. And obviously, eventually it will. So right now it's making some images. It is not given text at all. Almost given no text. Yeah. This remains a limitation as of now for Midjourney. Okay. Very, very similar way in which AI can generate songs as well. So, you come here, you say create. Two ways to go about it is, so one is, how I typically use it. Let's say write a song in Hindi to celebrate the World Youth Skills Day. At AISECT Bhopal Center. So what I'll do is write lyrics for a song. So I give it that, and obviously this is just a small demo of the capabilities which it has. You can customize it in whatever way. So we take this as a lyrics, right? Okay, so let's take this first. Yeah. And then we come to this tool called Suno. You can use audio, pretty much up to you. So you can write your own lyrics. So I just put the lyrics here. And we have put too many words here, so maybe it needs a shorter one. Let's try Suno, maybe this is a longer context. It has, again, shorter, but let's go with whatever it is taking. And I will say that with this lyrics, it should be able to create a song. Okay. So I'm creating one here. यहाँ पे I have to थोड़ा सा trim down करना पड़ेगा, but we can do that. Now it's fine. So I will say write it a Hindi. So it's a Hindi song, obviously. So Hindi movie, then Bollywood, then 2010s, Indian. I'm just quoting from whatever is update is coming here, and maybe you want to make it Bhangra, so it's like, you know, very energetic kind of a song. So we ask it that, and we ask it to create the song. Now it will start making the songs. Here something didn't go through. What happened here? This tool is stuck for some reason. Let me again try. So this one is happening here. They have called the song Nayi Udan and Koshish Ka Ujala. That's the name which it has given. Let me then create again. अच्छा, okay, okay, okay. I didn't see it. हाँ, नीचे में है ना, ये रहा. Okay. Let me see if I can push it a little. It's taking a lot of time to. Let me see what the other one has created.
जब कदम मिले हैं सपनों से जुड़ गए हमने अपनी राहों को नए रंग से भर गए हर कदम.
It's made a more energetic Punjabi, so you know.
अब जल को सुलझा
I'm not putting too much time into listening to the thing, but you get an idea, right? The idea is for you to then experiment. So that is a capability. One more thing which you can do here is you can, literally come here, download the audio, then go to, some of the video making tools, upload the audio which you have created and make a music video out of it. So from ChatGPT you created lyrics, then you made song, you made a music video. And obviously all of this is at a very early stage right now, but still if you see the quality is largely to some extent decently good. This obviously keeps getting better to the point which we don't know. Frankly, even I don't know where this is heading. So if you come to something like this, let's say you create a new project, and we have just downloaded the song here. Let me just download this song. Okay. Then you can come and upload this song. Yeah, so, and you can put any video on top of it. So we have the audio, we have the lyrics and everything, so we can just, okay, the internet is a little slow here. This looks like a video which is close to what we are trying to do. So let's put that. Yeah. And then when you play it together, it's totally up to you what kind of video you want to put into this, what kind of creativity you can bring into it. I'm just giving you a very raw form of whatever is possible today. With this, I will also now, want to move a few of the things. So basically, whatever I showed you so far these are the capabilities which are there right now. And this is all very, very new technologies. I'll say these are all it all started 2 years back, right? And it's going at almost like a very high-speed train. It is just each new week comes up with some new kind of innovation here. So now I'll want you to listen to some industry experts who have some very interesting things to say, because oftentimes, when we hear from people who are building these things, then it has a second added layer of authenticity to it. So I'll first play a video by Meera Murthy, who is the CTO, the Chief Technology Officer of OpenAI, which is one of the most frontier labs, and what she has to say about education.
In terms of the promise, one of the things I'm very excited about is having high quality and free education available everywhere in some remote village, really in middle of nowhere. For me, education was very important. Personally, it was everything. It really changed my life. And I can only imagine, today we have so many tools available. So if you have electricity and internet, a lot of these tools are available. But still, most people are in classrooms with one teacher, 50 students, and so on, and everyone gets taught the same thing. Imagine if education is catered to the way that you think, to your cultural norms, and to your specific interests. That could be extremely powerful in extending the level of knowledge and creativity. And it can, even if you consider learning how to learn,
yeah,
that kind of happens very late in life, maybe college, maybe even later. And that is such a fundamental thing. What if we were able to really grasp this and get this, really learn how we learn at much younger age? I think that is very powerful, and it can push human knowledge, and pushing human knowledge can push the entire civilization forward.
So totally agree with that, and I thought it's very important for you to listen to this, because through your work, either directly or indirectly, you are influencing a large number of teachers and students. So for you to adopt AI is, I'll say, it's literally part of your job now. If you think about it, if some technology is there which can, because essentially our goal was to provide access, right? And if some technology has come which can which is so much more powerful than even internet, then it really means something that we should adopt as fast. One more small clip from Greg Brockman, who is the president at OpenAI. And it's very interesting how the entire team at OpenAI largely is very, very bullish, focused on education.
Well, for me personally, I've always felt like one of the motivations for building AI systems, for trying to build AGI, is to get everyone a personal tutor. Like, I think many people have a story of that one teacher who really understood them, who helped them achieve and get excited about a subject. And you just imagine what would happen if everyone had access to such a tutor 24/7 who can really understand them and motivate them. And I feel like that is so aligned with what Khan Academy is building, and the potential that you want to unlock in every student. And so it was just like when we realized maybe we can actually make a dent in education, maybe this could be applied there, it was so clear that the Khan Academy was the first port of call.
So he is also talking about Khan Academy building a tool which is called Khan Migo, which is going to be a real AI tutor. And in fact, in the office, sometimes we're talking about, we are trying to wonder whether we could tie up with NVIDIA and bring their servers for us. So one of the things, which you can really think at various levels is, can AISECT build something which is, a tool, in-house tool built on Indian languages. So I was, a couple of weeks back, I was at the Global India AI Summit, which organized in Delhi. So there were a lot of startups, Indian startup had come. There was this organization which is funded by the MIT called Bhasini. They are trying to solve the entire problem of languages, because right now OpenAI and all the bigger labs which are based in US, they are not that good in all the Indian languages, and the cost of building tools in Indian languages is 7-8 times costlier. So if you are building a tool which is only English, vis-a-vis something which has Hindi or Bengali and all that, it's so much more costlier, because we don't have a, what the word for this is called foundational model, where you have done the entire training of the large language model. India has done only one so far by IIT Bombay. It's called Indic GPT. But we need more of that. I'm sure that is something which the IITs and the governments will take care of, but at least from an organization point of view, you may think what kind of tools you want to build on top of that foundational models. Something which is defined, which is customized for the Indian audience, in fact, even more, because AISECT goes to even the smaller areas. So you will have different dialects. Even in Hindi, you have so many dialects. In Telugu, you have so many dialects. How do you cater to those dialects, to the smaller population, which is, not that big in size, but for them, for us to reach in their language is very important, because that's when true education happens, and it's in mother tongue. So again, those are the things which I want you to start thinking on. From that perspective, I said I'll show you something. So this is a very interesting tool. This is an LLM called Llama 3. It has this unique capability that you can download it in a computer. It's a 4 GB file. It's obviously a very diluted version of the larger Llama file, but it can run natively on your computer without needing internet. So right now, even if the internet was not there, I will still be able to use Llama 3, and I'll still be able to utilize it for at least basic level of question answering. Now imagine using something like this, in putting it in an app, in a mobile, getting it installed once for the student. Even if the student doesn't have internet, they can still chat with it, which is a huge breakthrough, I will say, because most of the remote areas in India today, we may not have internet, or maybe internet is very costly. But we are talking about a LLM which is absolutely free. This is an open source LLM built by Meta, which is the company behind Facebook and everything, Facebook and Instagram. So let's ask it a question. Give me a syllabus for class 8 maths and physics in Hindi. So despite the fact that it's a very small 4 GB file, not needing internet to run, but I have seen it able to give answers not as good as GPT-4, but reasonably well. Again, something that we can perhaps think of using as a substrate and then building further on it for remote areas, for rural areas. So it is now giving you the syllabus here. And it's a little slow, obviously, because of the fact that it is completely offline and all of that. So number system, Hindi संख्या और उसके प्रकार, भिन्न संख्या, संयोग, it's writing fully in Hindi right now. It will obviously go on. We'll leave it to the task and come back to it a little later. This one here is a TED Talk, a small clip from a TED Talk by Mr. Vinod Khosla. Some of you might know him. He's the founder of Sun Microsystem. Very, very interesting things he's talking about the economy. So we also know that, we work in the skilling sector. We work to make entrepreneurs, right? Because education is not the end goal. End goal is for people to earn money. Now here, let's listen to him and what he has to say about the future of this technology in the area of skilling and ability to make money. Oh, this is not on, is it? Okay. Just a moment. Can I get a adapter, please? This is not working. It's not on, no. No, not on, yeah. How much battery do we have? 5%. Is it something to do with my thing? No. Yeah, no worries, no worries. Meantime, if there are any question in the room, we can take that. We can utilize the time. Okay. But then we'll not be able to display stuff. We just need to put it somewhere in the socket. That's all we need to do.
So,
yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
how can AI, some of the tools which we can use in AI, in HR for hiring or talent acquisition, some of the tools which you can tell us?
See, ideally, you should have to create something which is built for your organization, for HR. But if you're talking about, which is an HR solution which has AI built into it, but let's say if you're talking about general tools, so for example, screening of a CV, that can very easily be done by a chat GPT. You have large number of files or a cloud which I was showing. Let's say you put 20 CVs and you want a summary of what are the candidates. You can put it in a table kind of a format. That can be done. But again, I think for some, because HR is a very critical function, I'll say. It's a lot of private data comes there. I think for that, the best solution would be to have a software which is built for your organization for a specific purpose like HR screening. Interviews can be something which can use public tools. So you say, this is the role. You can create a job description using AI very easily. You can create a series of questions which you want in the interview very easily. So those are some general use cases which you can do. So maybe public tools for these general cases and specific tool for your organization. Between these two, you should be able to have a lot of things which you can do in the HR field. It's here now? Okay, super. Yeah, it's getting charged. Okay. So this is a bit on the future of economy side. Important for us to hear from these leaders and sort of understand this.
I'll go through a dozen scenarios that I believe most experts will foo-foo. Most expertise enabled by AI will be free. I'm most excited that every human being on the planet can have 24/7 a free doctor, primary care in a very expensive way, that every child can have a free tutor in a very available, accessible way, and these will be near free. It doesn't matter other expertise where you're looking at structural engineers or oncologists. Most expertise will be near free, the cost of computing. Most labor will also be free. I can imagine 1 billion bipedal robots doing more work than all of human labor does today, freeing humans from the servitude of some of the jobs, working at General Motors on an assembly line for 8 hours a day, doing the same thing for 30 years. That's not a job. That's almost slavery.
So, in fact, he mentioned something which I skipped during my overview. So what's really happening with AI also, because we are also talking about the far future of AI, not far but near future of AI. So you have LLMs which sit inside servers, right? Just think of it as pure brains. The moment you put that brain to a body, which is a robot, then you are talking about an entity which is able to do tasks which us humans can do. Because we humans have intelligence in our head, but we also have bodily intelligence, right? Spatial intelligence. Now that spatial intelligence again is going to come, let's say, we don't know the exact number of years, but most people are saying that at least those people who are building these robots saying in the 2 to 3 year time horizon, we'll have robots which can work in factories, which can do so many tasks which humans do in those factories. And after that, it's a matter of time before they come and start working and helping us in our homes. And once that happens, that's a very different scenario, because if you can have robots coming inside a house and doing house chores, which is what, for example, Elon Musk's company Tesla, the number one task which they are doing right now is trying to build the Optimus robot. And the goal for Optimus robot is not to work in factories, but to be in your home. So working as a household help for you. Now you have spatial intelligence and language intelligence combined together. We are literally talking about a very different society that we'll be living in pretty soon. So again, from different point of view, from livelihood, skilling, these things become very crucial for us to understand and respond to as knowledge workers. Because there is a bit of a responsibility we have if you are educated in a country in India where 90% of the working population still makes less than 10,000 per month. It's a very stark number to have in a country as big as ours. It's almost a responsibility if you are educated to also then figure how to you really use your education for the betterment of the society and essentially to be useful citizens of the country. So I think this knowledge or these trends, it's something that all of us should be familiar with, should figure out how best we can contribute. I will conclude with this one slide which talks about the 4 golden rules on utilizing AI. I have taken it from this book. I'll highly recommend you read this book also. So it says that, first thing you have to do is you have to invite AI into everything, which is what I'm trying to tell you. Everything that you do, and I'm so glad that you have such a futuristic organization, so to say, because most organizations, they are saying just ban ChatGPT, ban AI. That's also an approach many organizations are taking. They don't want to take any risk, but at least your organization is forward thinking enough to invite me and talk about future and all of that. So you should sort of take that as a cue that your organization is very keen on you to learn AI. So I will say for every task that you do, figure out how you can bring AI into it, how you can automate it using AI. Second is always maintain the human supervision layer because there will be inaccuracies, hallucination, mistakes, and that is where you come in. Third is also always treat AI like the way you treat a person. A person has, variety of intelligence. So the way you converse with AI, give it a role each time. Who you want it to be acting like when you're interacting with it. Be sure it might make mistakes the way humans make mistakes. It's not like a software which is designed only to give you right answer. It is a thinking machine, so it obviously will make mistakes. Then the fourth one is, and very important, that assume everything you're doing, assume this is the worst. Because we are talking about a 2-year-old technology. It's almost like a baby right now. It keeps getting better. So the advantage for you to learn it now is you will be ahead of the curve. As it gets improving, you will be on the forefront of the curve. So those were 4 golden rules which you must apply. And I think this is the beginning for us. Very interesting trajectory which most of us perhaps do not even understand well. But obviously, I'm very optimistic. A lot of people who are building AI are very optimistic about where this could take us. Especially those of us who have good intent at heart, obviously will ensure that it takes the humanity in the right direction. So, and further to this, there are 2 things you can do. So I keep sharing these tidbits about AI, these facts and all on my LinkedIn. And I also have a publicly open, it's an open source community. There is no sponsorship or no money involved into this. You can join these two communities. So you can join me on LinkedIn, just see what I have to write. I keep sharing these tips all the time. This community, some 1,000 people are already there. You're most welcome to join it. We keep having discussions. Whenever something new comes up, we share it in a complete spirit of open source. So feel free to be a part of this. I'm also doing something for the community under part of my FutureLab, which is my company. So in fact, just tomorrow I'm traveling to Calcutta, and we have some 5 sessions planned with youth from middle and low income families. Idea is to teach them to use AI for their education, for competitive exams, for their jobs. So I'm also doing that, and idea is not to do just one session, but do a 100-day thing where I can take them from zero user of AI to power user of AI. So that's again something that I'm doing, so you can contribute to that. I'm actually looking for educators, teachers to come and contribute, be volunteers. The other one is the feedback form which SGSU needs. So kindly, just take a click of this, go to the link and give a feedback. Especially the feedback which I will really appreciate is, what more do you want to learn about AI? I mean, I can always come here once more. I can always do a virtual session for you, but for me, it's very critical to know what are the things you want to learn further on AI. So I'll really appreciate that for you to share. Yep. And I think I'll just close with this last one slide. This is Mr. Andrej Karpathy. By the way, very, very interesting and very latest news. Yesterday, this person, who I respect a lot, he used to be the chief engineer at Tesla, worked very closely with Elon Musk. He was part of the founding team of OpenAI, so one of the finest ML engineers we have today in the world. He yesterday announced his new company called Eureka Labs, where he has left his job in OpenAI now and he has become a teacher. So that is one of the reasons why I really admire him. So he's taken this mission to teach AI to people. I think largely you can expect very high quality of it. So definitely follow him and his work. But what essentially he's saying it, just as, when Steve Jobs was starting Apple and people used to ask him, why do we need personal computers at all? Nobody thought, that personal computer is so important. He's saying, why would somebody need a personal LLM? Which essentially is trying to say that just few years down the line, all of us will have a personal LLM, an AI which is an assistant for us in different areas of our life. So I currently, have an AI assistant for my company. I have a personal finance coach for myself, which is an AI. I also already have multiple AIs. All of you will have the same in next few years. So with that, I'd like to thank all of you for your patience and for listening to me. Thank you.
Can we? Yeah, happy to. Yeah, if you have questions, happy to answer them. Yeah, why not?
So the house is open. Any questions? We have just 5 minutes to address your questions if you have any. Yeah, there's one.
You can also write to me. I mean, through LinkedIn or I'm on social media, so you can always write to me. I'm more than happy to respond.
हाय सर, गौरव सर वो गामा एआई जो है वो चार्जेबल हो गया है, फ्री वाला कोई बताइए ना सर.
Which one?
गामा.
अच्छा गामा, ओके. See, अगर आपके पास enterprise level पे, I don't know whether you have Microsoft Copilot or not. गामा वाली सारी फैसिलिटी अभी Microsoft Copilot में आ चुकी है. So Microsoft PowerPoint में you will have that there. Otherwise, the one free tool which you can use is ये Google की जो slides आती हैं, slides.google, उसमें Gemini integrated and that's free. So that is another tool you can use. And let me think if there are some more free tools for PowerPoints, right? Let me think. I mean, these are the two in my mind. One is this slide into Gamma, that is a free tool. And then there is PowerPoint Copilot, if your organization has the subscription to it. Beyond that, cloud, some parts of it is, but you can't make Gamma-like presentation. Maybe I'll have to research a little bit. You can reach out to me later. I'll share with you.
Okay, sir. Any more? Okay, there's one from Shishir as well.
Sir, two questions are
Yeah,
there.
yeah, go ahead.
One is it right कि no country has a AI policy right now?
No country has an AI policy.
Cybercrime policy 2000 on
See,
2008 हमारे पास
every
है.
country has some AI policy or the other. It depends on how strong the regulations are. So, for example, EU right now has a very strong regulations right now in terms of what you can build using AI. So, it has to go through multiple phases. Every country has, but because this technology itself is so very new, that I will say the policies are not at their prime, so to say. As AI is developing, the policies are also getting developed.
So second question is, आप बहुत AI से familiar हैं अभी, तो हम भविष्य कैसा देख सकते हैं? अभी हम जैसे कि हम एजुकेशन इंडस्ट्री से हैं, ठीक है, हमारे पास कई सारी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ हैं, तो अगर हमारे पास किसी एक यूनिवर्सिटी के अंदर 5,000 से 10,000 स्टूडेंट हैं, हमने सारे स्टूडेंट्स को AI इक्विप कर दिया है, अब वो हर एक स्टूडेंट जो है वो पावरफुल पेपर्स लिख सकता है, बुक्स लिख सकता है, सारा कुछ लिख सकता है. तो अभी हमारे पास जो कन्वेंशनल टेक्नोलॉजी है या कन्वेंशनल तरीका है उसका एग्जाम कंडक्ट करवाने का,
come again?
एग्जाम कंडक्ट करवाने का जो कन्वेंशनल तरीका है, अब हर स्टूडेंट इतना इक्विप हो चुका है, वो सुपर पावर बन चुका है, सुपर चार्ज है. तो आपके नॉलेज के अकॉर्डिंग क्या ऐसी कोई नई एग्जाम टेक्नोलॉजी होनी चाहिए उसको एक्सेस करने के लिए?
Yeah. In fact, this is one of the things I study very closely. So I'll just tell you. This person, Ethan Malik, he's one of those professors. He's a professor at Wharton B School. ये इनका core domain of research है. How to think of academics and education in the age of AI. And obviously he's not the only one. There are thousands of people who are working on this domain. So one of the interesting thing he does is he teaches a MBA class in Wharton. So in his class what he does is he says write this thing using AI and then come to the class and let's have a critique of it. So he is freely in his exams also. He is freely asking आप पूरा AI use करो, but AI use करने के बाद, so one of the tasks he gives his student is build a working app of this particular thing and use as many AI as you want to. So it's almost like an open book exam, you can think, where you have access to every AI, but now you're asking students to build things which as a teacher and an expert then you will be able to critique. So that's obviously, it requires a completely different mindset, a different new way of taking examination, and I think all the current, like in India में जो भी boards हैं अपने, they're also changing the way that they think about exam, that they think about what will be the future of examinations and all of that. But this is one concrete example which I know of, that in Wharton this is already being practiced. He's the author, this person, Ethan Malik. You can follow him. Yes, you can follow him. Yes. See, as long as you do this, maintain human supervision, आपके रिसर्च में बहुत हेल्पफुल हो सकता है. Because it can, सबसे बड़ा एडवांटेज क्या है ना, ये बहुत ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन को क्विकली स्कैन कर सकता है, तो आपका वहाँ पे टाइम बच जाता है. सो एंड ऑब्वियसली ईच टाइम, अच्छा वन मोर थिंग, स्पेशली विथ रिसर्च, सो ईच टाइम यू आर टॉकिंग टू AI, ऑल्सो आस्क व्हाट इट डज नॉट नो. दैट बिकम्स अ वेरी क्रिटिकल थिंग टू आस्क, क्योंकि AI क्या होता है ना, इट्स ऑलमोस्ट लाइक ए किड. कुछ आप सवाल पूछेंगे आपको जवाब देगा, उसे नहीं पता तो जवाब को गेस कर लेता है. सो द मोमेंट यू आस्क कि आप मुझे ये बताओ कि इस XYZ टॉपिक के बारे में आपको क्या क्या पता है, ऑल्सो ये बताओ कि क्या क्या नहीं पता है. सो इट विल से अच्छा मुझे ये सही नहीं पता, तो आप उसको इग्नोर कर लोगे. So there are smart ways you can go about doing it, but if you are asking कि क्या AI का use research में होना चाहिए, I'll say obviously होना चाहिए. आप कह रहे हैं जो प्रीवियस जो रिसर्च पेपर्स लिखे हुए हैं उसमें से आप क्या एक्सट्रैक्ट कर सकते हो? इज दैट द क्वेश्चन? सो सी थिंग इज इट इज जनरेटिव AI, ओके, इट डज नॉट कॉपी थिंग्स. सो व्हाट इट डज इज, लेट्स से आप इसको 10 रिसर्च पेपर दोगे ना, तो उस 10 रिसर्च पेपर का जो क्या कोर मैसेज है उसको समझ के इट विल गिव सम आउटपुट. इट विल नॉट कॉपी द पेपर्स फॉर यू. या Not really, because again it's a generative technology. So अगर आप चाहोगे कि last 20 year का data मुझे exact मिल जाए, जो general public tools है ना, for example this chat GPT, cloud, वो वहाँ पे you will not get the answer. But let's say if you use Perplexity or Google search with AI, it will tell you कि यहाँ से data मिल सकता है, then you can go and copy it from there. That's a better way to correct. No problem.
So I guess some good questions being asked and answered. I think we had a good session today, and I will just call upon Mr. Abhishek Gupta, sir, for a formal vote of thanks to Shabbir, sir.
So, thank you, Shabbir, for accepting our invitations. और मुझे पूरा विश्वास आपको बहुत मजा आया होगा. जो शब्बीर की फर्स्ट हाइपोथेसिस अगर आपने देखा होगा कि अनइवन जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है वही इसमें सबसे बड़ा कैच है. जो लोग कंटेंट फील्ड से हैं, जो फ्यूचर स्किल से हैं, वीनाधारी मैडम है, प्रीति मैडम है, सो बहुत ज़्यादा रिलेट कर पा रहे होंगे. बट जैसा बताया कि अनइवन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है तो हमारे सबकी ज़िंदगी में हम इससे बच नहीं सकते. बहुत सारे लोगों ने ट्राई किया कि हम अपना ईमेल आईडी ना बनाएं, हम व्हाट्सएप वाला मोबाइल ना खरीदें, बट वो पॉसिबल नहीं है. जैसे दुनिया हम चाहें ना चाहें बट दुनिया अपनी स्पीड से बदल रही है और हम उसके हिसाब से होना पड़ेगा. शब्बीर अभी बता रहे थे कि एआई के साथ जो हम बोलते हैं जॉब के साथ क्या चैलेंज है, तो ये बोला जा रहा है कि एआई विल नॉट रिप्लेस द जॉब्स बट द पीपल हु ट्रेंड विद एआई विल रिप्लेस द पीपल हु डोंट ट्रेंड विद द एआई. तो अगर मेरे पास 2 जॉब प्रोफाइल्स के लिए सीवी आएंगे, अगर एक व्यक्ति बोलता है उसे एआई के साथ ट्रेंड किया हुआ है और दूसरे के साथ नहीं है, सो डेफिनेटली समवन विल पिक समवन जिसको एआई की ट्रेनिंग है, क्योंकि वो बहुत सारा टाइम बचाएगा, प्रेजेंटेशन बहुत जल्दी बना सकता है, रिपोर्ट्स बहुत जल्दी बना सकता है, और उसके बेहाफ से कितना ही इंटेलिजेंट व्यक्ति हो, क्योंकि टाइम इतना फास्ट है. आप देख रहे हैं ना, डेली हमारे 3 दिन से प्रोग्राम चल रहा है, 2 दिन और है अभी, तो टाइम किसी के पास नहीं है. हमारे पास सबके पास 24 आवर्स ही हैं, बट वी हैव टू मेक श्योर कि 24 आवर जो हमारे हैं वो कितने इफेक्टिव तरीके से यूटिलाइज हो सकते हैं और उसके टूल्स कौन से हैं जो हमारे लिए काम में आए. अब हम सब चीज़ों में जो बोला जा रहा है कि हम हमारे लिए को इंटेलिजेंस और पर्सनल असिस्टेंस, LLM जितनी चीज़ें बताई, ये 10 साल पहले जैसे विजुलाइज की जा रही थी वैसे ही ट्रैवल हो रहा है. और जो लोग उसमें आगे हैं, शब्बीर पिछले 6 साल से कंटिन्यू मैं उनको फॉलो करता हूँ कि वो हमारे बहुत सारे व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप हैं, हमारा पीयर ग्रुप है, तो उसमें वो बताते हैं सब चीज़ें. मैंने 2-4 और सेशन अटेंड किए, सो आई थॉट ये तो सबके पास ही इन्फॉर्मेशन जानी चाहिए. और वो अपने डिस्कशन में इंडिया 2 बोलते हैं, इंडिया वर्जन 2.0, कि जहाँ पर हम 70% पॉपुलेशन जो अभी भी रूरल और 60% पॉपुलेशन है, क्योंकि यूएस सिलिकॉन वैली जब बता रहे कि वो एआई के आगे भी बात हो रही है और हमारे इंडिया में भी इतनी पॉपुलेशन है जहाँ पर इनकी चीज़ों की भी अवेयरनेस नहीं है, बेसिक पब्लिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में ऐसा नहीं है, तो हम कैसे होंगे. जो हम बोल रहे हैं वर्ल्ड यूथ स्किल डे, जो इसका फिलॉसफी है कि यूथ स्किल्स को, हमारे डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड को कैसे यूटिलाइज करें, तो हमारी जिम्मेदारी एक स्टेप ज़्यादा है, क्योंकि हम एजुकेटर हैं और हम ही अपने क्लास में बच्चों को ट्रेन कर रहे हैं. हम ही अपने PMK और स्किल ट्रेनिंग सेंटर के माध्यम से दूसरे बच्चों को बता रहे हैं. तो हमारी सबसे पहले जिम्मेदारी हम खुद अप स्किल हों, रीस्किल हों और बार बार हों, कंटिन्यूसली होते रहें. और जितने सेशंस ऐसे होते हैं, तो हमारी L&D टीम को, अर्चना मैडम को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद इस सेशन ऑर्गेनाइज कराने के लिए. शब्बीर को पुनः पूरे आईसेक्ट परिवार की तरफ से, SGSU की तरफ से एक बार एक जोरदार तालियों से जरूर धन्यवाद करें. आई एम वेरी श्योर ऐसे सेशंस हमारी 5-6 ही यूनिवर्सिटी में, SGSU में हो गया आज, तो हम सभी यूनिवर्सिटी में फिजिकल फॉर्म में सभी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में आगे भी इसको कंटिन्यू करेंगे. और मे भी हमारी आईसेक्ट लर्न की टीम के साथ शब्बीर एज अ रिसोर्स पर्सन जुड़ के कुछ एक और उसमें सेशंस, छोटे छोटे मॉड्यूल्स ऐसे डेवलप कर सकें जो हमारी पूरे आईसेक्ट कम्युनिटीज़ को, और आईसेक्ट से हर साल करीब 3 से 4 लाख बच्चे बेनिफिटेड होते हैं, उसमें भी इसके जुड़ सकें और अपने आप को अपग्रेड कर सकें. सो थैंक यू वंस अगेन शब्बीर. We are looking forward to collaborating with you in many more programs. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So this one's a QR code again for the feedback thing, and I would request all of you to come near the dais so that we can have a group photo together before we leave. And after that, the refreshments are waiting for us outside. So as Shabbir sir has already said, The train is moving very fast and we have to fall for the train to catch. Otherwise, we have to just wait and fall by the wayside. Please come to the dais, near the dais. Those who are standing, they can come forward. You guys can come forward for a good photo if you can have. Please be quick.
जो लोग निकल रहे हैं उनसे भी निवेदन है कि आप लोग भी आ जाइए, ज्वाइन करिए फोटोग्राफ्स के लिए.